Hello, and welcome to the 10th Annual Women of Distinction Awards, hosted by the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio. I'm Judith Matsko, GSNEO Board Chair and 2014 Women of Distinction honoree. I want to take a moment to tell you about this exciting event and thank you for joining us today. Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio's Women of Distinction event was established to raise funds for Girl Scout scholarships and financial aid while honoring women leaders who go above and beyond to make our communities better places to live, work, and raise families. The honorees are selected for their remarkable achievements as business, community, and civic leaders dedicated to supporting opportunities for women and girls. Also honored at this event is an outstanding organization that has shown a steadfast commitment to advancing women in the workplace. Finally, 3 Girl Scouts are awarded the Leaders of Tomorrow Scholarship for exemplifying the core values and mission of Girl Scouts and for making significant differences in their communities. Please join me in supporting these exceptional honorees during today's event by clicking the Donate button when it appears on your screen or by texting WDA 2021 to 76278. All money raised by this event supports financial aid, which includes everything from membership costs and program fees to camperships for many of our 23,500 Northeast Ohio Girl Scouts. Now, it is my pleasure to kick off our celebration by congratulating this year's honorees and introducing our guide for today's event. Please join me in welcoming WKYC anchor and 2020 Women of Distinction honoree, Sarah Shookman.
Judy, thank you so much for the warm welcome. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 Women of Distinction Awards event. I'm Sarah Shookman, and I was so honored to be named a GSNEO Woman of Distinction last year. I was a member of Troop 790 growing up in Akron. The skills and opportunities provided to me through Girl Scouting have helped me become the professional I am today. We are so happy for all of you to join us. This event looks a little different than our typical Women of Distinction events in years past, but we're excited to honor and celebrate 14 honorees, 10 Women of Distinction, 1 Advancing Women organization, and 3 Leaders of Tomorrow scholarship recipients. Our award recipients today echo the Girl Scout spirit every day, meeting any challenge in their way with their own talents and resources to make their communities and the world a better place. Now, throughout the program, you can support GSNEO by texting WDA 2021 to 76278, or you can click the Donate button when it appears on your screen. Donations support Girl Scout scholarships and financial aid for Northeast Ohio girls. Donations of every amount can make a difference. All are welcome and greatly appreciated. But we did want to note, there will be a special gift for those that donate $100 or more. This limited edition scarf celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Women of Distinction Awards will be only available this year. You can find out more information at WDA2021.givesmart.com. Now, during the program, please take photos of yourself and your family and friends who are watching with you. Share them with us on social media using the hashtag GSNEOWomen and enjoy the posts you see shared by others. Now, for the reason we are all here today. Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio established the Women of Distinction Awards event in 2012 to raise funds for Girl Scout scholarships and financial aid while honoring women leaders who go above and beyond to make our communities better places to live, work, and raise a family. To date, more than 150 women have been honored with the Women of Distinction Award, and hundreds of girls have been able to become Girl Scouts because of your generous donations. Thank you to the Cleveland Leadership Center, this year's Women of Distinction Award sponsor. It is time to meet our first 3 Women of Distinction.
Ruth Coleman has spent her career promoting healthcare quality, patient advocacy, and appropriate cost. She founded Health Design Plus, a third-party administrator managing employer health benefit plans with 20 years experience, and became the national leader for domestic medical travel serving Fortune 500 companies. Currently, through ValTrans Health, she consults with healthcare organizations on creating value-based transformation and productizing direct employer relationships. Under Coleman's direction, Health Design Plus was named to Incorporated 500, Weatherhead 100, and she was named one of the top 10 women business owners in Northeast Ohio.
Actually, I didn't discover the Girl Scouts until a couple years ago when Jane asked me to be on the STEM advisory committee, and it opened my eyes to just something phenomenal that I hadn't been exposed to before. It's just amazing. As I've watched what the Girl Scouts are doing with STEM, it's learning, but it's fun learning and it's exciting learning. And back when I was in school, it was drudgery math that I loved, but it was still fun for me, but it wasn't for most people. There's so many lessons from the pandemic. The world has changed. The world of work has definitely changed, and that's not going back. The world of medicine that I come from has changed dramatically for the better, and being more accessible to patients, being more available. And then how fast science is accelerating is unbelievable. And I think that they're all good things that will come from the pandemic, but the advancements that are kind of come from the pandemic in the world of medicine and the world of work are really fantastic. I think every woman leader should have the personality trait of being a good listener. That is so important, and valuing other people and valuing what they bring to the table and learning from them. And that is fairly typical of women leaders. Women in my field need to stand up for themselves, need to be assertive, because they're not going to be given things, they're going to have to go after them themselves, and know their value and bring that to whatever they're doing and make the commitment and being very persistent. There's so many opportunities in healthcare and in medicine that they shouldn't limit themselves, and what they'll find as they get more experience is that there will be opportunities that they never thought would happen. As I look at the badge requirements for many of the badges, I'm not sure I could do them. They're really amazing. So what the girls are learning and the skills and the strength that the Girl Scouts are giving them, it's been such a wonderful discovery for me to get involved with the Girl Scouts and to support the Girl Scouts in their efforts to just bring girls to a new place.
Marianne Crosley has served as president and chief executive officer of the Cleveland Leadership Center since 2010 and is passionate about building a pipeline of leaders for Cleveland's future. Previously, she served as the founding executive director of Summer on the Cuyahoga, an economic development initiative, and worked as a prosecutor in Brooklyn, New York. Crosley is a trustee emeritus of Colgate University, recipient of the Maroon Citation and the Brian Little Award for Distinguished Service. She serves on the Board of Trustees for South Point Hospital, United Cerebral Palsy, and Cleveland Playhouse, and on the Board of Visitors for Cuyahoga Community College. She and her husband, Tim Clements, have 4 grown children and live in Chagrin Falls.
When my daughter came home from school and had the opportunity to join Girl Scouts, it was a no-brainer. I said, this is what you're going to do. And she jumped right in and, like me, never looked back. The opportunities presented to challenge yourself and to grow were just opportunities that she didn't have anywhere else. She was encouraged to be herself and to grow as she wanted to grow and to become the woman that she ultimately became. If I were a Girl Scout cookie, I would be a Samoa. A, because it's my favorite, of course, but also because it's a little complicated, right? There are a lot of ingredients in the Samoa. There are many layers, and I think that's how I am over the course of my life. There have been many layers to different careers that I've had, and now at the Leadership Center, we're a complex organization, and it's not until you get into it and you bite into it and you devour it that you really appreciate how delicious the Samoa is and how great all the things that the Leadership Center can offer you. Of the women that I admire and look up to, the one who inspires me the most is actually Michelle Obama. I look at the careers that she has had, from being a lawyer to being a mom and being first lady, and she's had to navigate so many different pathways and show such courage and composure and confidence. And I really admire her strength, her intelligence, and how she carries herself and communicates her message. My first female mentor was a judge on the New York State Supreme Court, where we were living and where I was practicing law at the time. Her name was Blossom Heller. And Blossom Heller was about this tall and tough as nails. You walked into her courtroom and you had to be 100% prepared. You had to know every answer, and you could not flinch. If she detected an ounce of fear in you, she was all over you. And I tried a lot of cases in front of her, and she taught me to always be at my best. All the lessons she taught me of just grit and resilience have stayed with me to this day. Two personality traits that I think every woman leader, and in fact every leader, should have. One is the ability to listen, and carefully listen and actively listen. And the other is to be humble. My advice for a Girl Scout today to ensure her success tomorrow would be, you have to be innovative, you have to be able to adapt to whatever is thrown at you and whatever challenges you find along the way. You have to work incredibly hard, be tenacious, and also be patiently persistent. Keep going for what you want, don't let go of your dream. Girl Scouts are amazing, but it should not stop. You should be able to keep going in Girl Scouts. I want to be a Girl Scout when I'm retired.
Betsy Engels has spent more than 30 years implementing technical sales and marketing processes. She consults with manufacturers and has a passion for emerging technologies and trends. She is also active in the community, volunteering and serving on boards and engaging with entrepreneurs. She is a lifetime member of the Girl Scouts and an active supporter of initiatives that support women and girls. Betsy is married to Bob Engels, and they have 2 grown daughters that live out of state.
If I were a Girl Scout cookie, I would be a trefoil, because it's a classic cookie and it's been around forever. My fondest Girl Scout memories, both as a Girl Scout and as a leader, is spending time both with my mother and with my girls, as well as with my friends at the camp. I still am an awful cook. Girl Scouts did not change that. But the worst thing I think I ever made while I was a Girl Scout was stew that was made from sort of everything that was left over at the end of the camping adventure. When I need encouragement or when I need motivation, I turn to 3 things. I turn to books. I find tremendous motivation from reading what other people have written down. And I also meditate. I sometimes find that if I can just find some peace, and if neither of those work, then I just try to get some rest. And those are really the things that rejuvenate me and give me the motivation to go on. What will the tech industry look like in 5 years? If you'd asked me that question 5 years ago, I would have been completely wrong. Things are moving so fast and changing so rapidly that I can't even imagine what it'll look like. But what I do feel is that it has to include more women. From a people standpoint, it really needs to represent what the country looks like and what the world looks like. But the advice that I would give a young woman who wants to pursue a career in tech is follow your natural curiosity. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. Discover what you can and can't do. Try things. Find out what it is you're good at. If someone tells you you're not good at math, then learn math, because math isn't something you're good or bad at. It just means you haven't learned it yet. Finding ways to really combine environment and manufacturing is where my heart lies. I also feel that as an experienced professional, my role is to help the next generation figure a lot of this stuff out. So I think there are solutions to all of the problems that we face as a world, and the generation coming up is going to solve them, and I just want to be there to help. Girl Scouts provide such a unique opportunity for girls to really do that, to really get to know each other, whether it's through camping or through projects or helping to keep a troop together, outreach to the community. It really is a great way for girls and young women to build those strong relationships with each other.
Congratulations again to our first amazing honorees. Now I want to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsors for the 2021 event, with special recognition to First Energy Foundation, Andy and Kathy Mook, KeyBank, and the Davy Tree Expert Company. Support from organizations like yours helps bring the Girl Scout leadership experience to more Northeast Ohio girls in all 18 counties served by Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio. Let's meet our next 4 women of distinction.
Jan Morrison is the founder and CEO of TIES, Teaching Institute for Excellence in STEM, the top and oldest STEM consulting firm in the U.S. and globally, seeking to bring children equity, accessibility, and opportunity in STEM. Jan previously served as the senior STEM consultant for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and has worked with 3 U.S. administrations. Jan is the co-founder of the STEM Learning Ecosystems Community of Practice, a global initiative that supports STEM education for 40 million students in the USA. Jan is a 10-year Girl Scout and partnered with the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio to create the Fab Cab in the STEM Center. She is the mother of 3 and grandmother of 6.
If I were a Girl Scout cookie, without a doubt, it would be a Samoa. And why would I be a Samoa? Well, never mind the fact that they're just delicious. Every bite is filled with something that's a little different. You get a little chocolate, you get a little coconut, you get a little biscuit. And that's the spice of life, is when things are not always the same and when every bite that you take is a little different than the bite you took before. My New York parents, they had never been camping, and neither had I. And the opportunity to figure that out, to solve the problems, to invent what we used to actually make something. I remember one morning where we were making, out of big tin cans, we were making little stoves to cook French toast, which I then took that whole idea home, went downstairs into the basement, into the bathroom of the basement, and unbeknownst to my parents, started it on fire so I could make my French toast in the bathroom down in the basement. And I love the ingenuity associated with it. What do I do for encouragement and motivating myself? It's been the same even when I was 8 years old and in brownies. It is to always drive for my interests and always look for solving problems. I am a person who has always kicked things up, get the dust going, stir it around, see what happens. When I look back at scouting, what strikes me so many years later is the opportunity that I had over and over to lead. Our leaders really found ways to help us to be the leaders. Women leaders come to their jobs as leaders in such a variety of different ways, whether it is in their job, whether it is in their community, in their homes, in their families. But I think one of the characteristics that they all share is that they're able to count on themselves. The best advice that I could give a young woman who's now starting out in their new profession is that no matter what that profession is to come at it with a kind of passion and with a vision for what success looks like. When you lock yourself down into a single path to make that work, that's when things become hard. When you find that you're more open, then the world will be more open to you. With my love of STEM and science and engineering and mathematics, in my adult life I'd find myself in a room full of men. And I would think back to what scouting provided for me and the kind of experiences and what that voice in my ear would say to me. And the idea that I was equal and that I was capable. For a girl coming up through Girl Scouts, I would consistently remind myself, lean in and lean on. When you have people with you who are partners in this with you, you don't have to go it alone, then you get it. And all that passion and all that fun and the great work of science becomes you.
Tonya Nemmer, the Summit County Community Outreach Prosecutor, is devoted to prosecuting and preventing crime by fostering effective relations between the community and law enforcement. Her career has focused on improving the legal profession as well as opening doors for women and girls. She's volunteered on several occasions to represent mothers and children at the Family Detention Center along the Texas border. In recognition of her service, she received the Ohio State Bar Association's Nettie, Cronzy, Lutz Award, named after the first Ohio woman lawyer. She currently lives in Hudson with her husband and their 3 vibrant children.
I was a brownie, and the reason I wanted to be a brownie was because I grew up in an immigrant family. My parents came from Lebanon, and I'm a first-generation immigrant. And we were used to, their hobbies were working, and so we knew how to study, we knew how to work, but I always wanted to try new things. And so when the advertisement came at school that there's this club, it's called the Brownies, you know, my parents didn't know anything about it, but I read up on it and I'm like, this is something exciting. They get to go camping and sell cookies, and a bunch of my friends were in it. So I convinced them to let me do an extracurricular activity, and that was it. It was brownies. You know, believe it or not, my favorite thing to do, and the one that's most memorable to me, was selling Girl Scout cookies. I ended up convincing my mom to try them, and she loved them, and to this day she's still ordering them. So the cookie that best represents me is the Girl Scout s'more cookie. And I picked that one because it's one of the newer flavors from when I was a brownie, but it's also my daughter's favorite, and she's a brownie right now. It's a really good symbolization of me. There's a middle filling in that cookie, and every part is delicious, the graham cracker and the center. But it you know, s'mores and having campfires outside, and even being a lawyer, you're kind of a middle child, you're a problem solver. So it really is a good representation of me and my favorite flavors. Who was my first female mentors? And I would have to say that that would have been my mother's, meaning my mom, Colette, and my mother-in-law, Odie. I grew up with my husband's family. The women were just spectacular, and you wouldn't even notice it. You know, they would be women of the home. They would cook, clean, do everything that needed to be done. And the women, they just got it done, and they figured out ways to think outside the box. I think that we're gonna see a lot more diversity, a lot more inclusion. And in the Girl Scout world, that's nothing different, because we're very inclusive as Girl Scouts. But in my profession, you know, as a lawyer, I started 15 years ago, and most of the time, as I was a criminal defense attorney, and most of the time I was the only woman in the room representing clients. Now I'm starting to see that shift where the room is split 50-50. But I think that we're going to start seeing more diversity, not just in gender, but in skin color and trains, the way people think. I think that people are going to be looking for that uniqueness and for somebody to bring a different perspective to our profession and to our community. And you're going to start seeing legal leaders being more diverse. And I'm looking forward to it, actually. What we learn as Girl Scouts, we meet and we learn about the government, we learn about the environment, we learn about people, how to work with fellow Girl Scouts, and how to come into the community and learn from our leaders in the community. That's what makes you a great leader, is wanting to be with others and serve.
Tonya Nemmer is currently a Program Element Manager for NASA's Game-Changing Program Office for its Space and Technology Mission Directorate. She oversees multiple developmental projects relating to space technologies across 7 NASA centers. Dr. Nemmer has consistently participated in advocacy activities related to women in science. She is a past president for Iota Sigma Pi, a nonprofit National Honor Society for Women in Chemistry, which has supported and created numerous Girl Scouts of America outreach programs and badge-earning opportunities throughout the U.S. Dr. Nemmer was also active in her local GSNEO Council as a volunteer, where she led troop meetings and activities for World Thinking Day. She managed cookie booths at drug and grocery stores and has also pulled the wagon through the neighborhood to pick up canned goods, along with marching with the troop in the local parade.
Which Girl Scout cookie would I be? I don't know. There's so many good ones, right? So it's hard to be selective, but if I had to just pick one, I'm a traditionalist, so Thin Mints, I mean, you've got mint, you've got chocolate, what else can you ask for? All in a cookie form. High school chemistry was a really hard subject for me. So I do like challenges, and so what did I do? I went on to get a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD in chemistry. A little bit of an overkill, yes. Do I recommend that for everyone? No. Was I gluttoning for punishment? Yes. If there is an interest in science, there are so many opportunities out there now for girls. All you need to do is shadow a person and see what it is like to work with them day to day and what their job entails. And you might find that you hate it or you'll absolutely love it. And if you do, go and find out what it's going to take to get you there. Women and men, I think, as leaders, need to have good discernment, good judgment, calm demeanor. I think that professionalism is always necessary on work, at the work site. You lead by example, right? You set the tone for your work group. So I think that it's very, very important that any leader realizes the position and the power that they have to motivate their workforce and their team and to lead by example. The word STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and then sometimes there's a last M to it, medicine, right? Sometimes people don't think that it is a people-oriented field, but it quite is. You can be that lone researcher in the lab discovering the next molecule, which is something I did do when I was early in my career, or you can morph into what I have done in the last 2 decades, which is join project management. And now with project management, I work with people every day, every single moment of the day. I am on call and help coordinate and find the funds in order to help the researchers advance their careers and their motivations and to get them to see their experiments on the next space flight. So that's very people-oriented. I like being able to do that kind of work now and give back to a society of engineers and scientists that helped me grow and do what it is that I get to do back in my early careers and now to present day.
Tracy Oliver is the Director of Media and Local Affairs for Dominion Energy Ohio's service territory, serving 1.2 million natural gas customers. Tracy has been with Dominion Energy for 36 years and serves as chair of the Community Investment Board and on the board of the Cuyahoga Community College Foundation. She has also served on the boards of the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center, and the African American Philanthropy Committee. Tracy is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and has received the Stephanie Tubbs Jones Courage Award from the Women of Color Foundation. She was named a YWCA Woman of Professional Excellence and received the Lighthouse Award from the Public Relations Society of America. She and her husband Gordon have 2 adult children, Jaron and Kendall, and reside in Cleveland Heights.
If I was a Girl Scout cookie, I would definitely be a Samoa because they are delicious. They are versatile and a lot of good ingredients come together in a Samoa. I got involved with the Girl Scouts because my daughter was a Girl Scout from being I think a daisy or brownie in preschool. And she went all the way up through 12th grade. And so that's a source of pride in our household that she was a Girl Scout. My first female mentor was a woman by the name of Esther Bean. She was my 3rd grade teacher. And I was going to elementary school in Bermuda. And I was known as the American girl. And so I felt a little bit shunned sometimes, and she would always pull me aside. She would put me in leadership positions. She always told me what I could be, helped me see things of myself that I couldn't see. And I'll always remember Mrs. Bean for that. What I do for encouragement or motivation is phone a friend. I have lots of good friends, both personally and professionally, and they give me great counsel and great advice. And so I would do the same for them. I push through my worst times by leaning on my foundation of faith. I think my spirituality gets me through a lot of the tough times. And right now, the things that we're going through in the world can be a little bit scary, and I try and keep my faith stronger than my fear. A woman can develop skills and be successful in a new job, I think, by listening and learning. It's very important to listen, to get to know the other people, to get to know the organization, and for people to get to know you. But you also learn from them. I would say that we are all the authors of our own stories. And so if it's something that you want to do, put your mind to it and write the next chapter. I'm honored to be with these other distinguished women on the dais today, and thank you very much to the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio.
What incredible women. Congratulations to these inspirational leaders. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to join us on Thursday, May 13th from 6 to 7 p.m. as we chase the flavor with Luna Bakery's pastry chef, Bridget Thibault. We'll provide the grocery list, the recipe, and the link to Bridget's live Zoom registration, and attendees will learn to create delicious chocolate ganache cupcakes. Yum. If you can join us, please sign up for the $20 class at wda2021.givesmart.com. Now, it's time to celebrate our final 3 Women of Distinction honorees.
Sandy Rapp is the Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer at Travel Centers of America. A Girl Scout alum and lifetime member, Sandy serves on the Board of Directors for the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio and as Vice Chair of the Board of Directors for the United Way of Greater Stark County. Previously, she was a board member and president for Stewart's Caring Place in Akron. Sandy earned a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Michigan and a master's of business administration from the University of Akron.
If I were a Girl Scout cookie, I would probably be the cookie crumbs. Why would I be the crumbs? Because I would have tried to eat one of every single type, and I wouldn't want somebody to know just how many I ate. My mom was a troop leader, so we would go with the whole troop. We would go camping, but it wasn't just me and my mom and the rest of the girls. It was me and my mom and my dad and my brother, and it was one of the few things that we would actually do as a family. So it was one of my favorite memories. The person that I would say really had the biggest influence on me was my mom. Something that she would always do is she always encouraged me to try something, even if I wasn't going to be good at it. And there were so many things that I tried and I really was not good at it. And she would always say, that's okay, you tried it. Move on, let's try something else. That helped shape me because it's almost as if you get that sense of courage or fearlessness that I'm going to try this, it's okay if I fail. And I think from that standpoint, my mom was so encouraging of me to just try whatever it was. Probably the most important lesson I think that we're taking away from the pandemic is just how resilient we are. If you think about how creative we've been in terms of figuring out a way to conduct business and to stay connected with our families when we can't see them. You always look for that kind of that silver lining. We are far more resilient than what we probably give ourselves credit for. For somebody to really become a leader, there are a couple key things, and as you'll notice, they're not going to be technical. It's around courage, because you are, as a leader, you've got to forge the path. You've got to be out in front. You've got to have that confidence. Compassion is because you're always going to be working with other people, and you've got to be able to see things from their perspectives as well and understand what they're going through. Just having that empathy, showing compassion. Collaboration, because I will guarantee you cannot get nearly as much done by yourself as what you can working with other people. Girl Scouts today, one of the things that's amazing is it's staying relevant. If I look back to when I was in the Girl Scouts, it was about the things that we were learning at the time. I was learning to camp, and it was safety, and it was home economics. Today, it's staying relevant. Think about the cybersecurity badges. Think about the STEM programs that we have. The types of things that we are helping girls to explore, they can apply that in the real world. And so I really think that's one of the key things for Girl Scouts is just staying relevant, and it really helps the girls to prepare themselves for what what life is going to throw at them, including a pandemic.
Dr. Vivian Von Grunigen is currently a member of the GSNEO Board of Directors and was a Girl Scout in her youth. In Vivian's career as a physician leader, she has been named a division chief, a chair, a professor, and chief medical officer. She is presently a professor at NeoMed with a focus on biomedical ethics. Vivian has received numerous educational, service, and research awards locally and nationally. She has served on numerous boards, including the Foundation for Women's Cancer, Society of Gynecologic Oncology, Summa Health System, Accountable Care Organization, Stark State Community Foundation, and the American Board of Obstetrics and Gynecology as its Excellence Foundation Chair. An example of awards include the 2019 Becker's Hospital Review 130 Women Hospital and Health System Leaders to Know, the 2014 Most Powerful and Influential Woman of Ohio by Ohio's Diversity Council, and the 2014 Foundation for Women's Cancer Public Service Award.
If I was a Girl Scout cookie, I would be a Thin Mint. And I would be a Thin Mint because, first of all, it's my favorite. And the descriptors are chocolate, creamy, crispy, bright, fun, a Thin Mint. My aha moment for my career, I was in nursing and was curious and wanted to achieve more. And so while I was working full-time as a nurse, I went back to school full-time. It was actually the most challenging time of my life and my career. The one piece of advice I would give Girl Scouts pursuing their dream would be dream big. You can do it. The thing that has changed most in medicine since I started is that there's more of us. Women were the minority in medical schools and in the field. Today it's getting better, but it's not where it needs to be. It's still quite unusual for a physician leader like a chief medical officer to be a woman, and that needs to change. I've always embraced technology, not only for the present, but also the future. I would call this the birthplace of STEM. Not only because we have done it so well within the Girl Scouts of Northeastern Ohio, but also we have the technology firms, we have the people's place and things for development. For a girl or a young woman who's interested in science or in healthcare, this is a wonderful place to be. The Girl Scouts are imperative for STEM and bringing women into science. It's not like when I was in college or in medical school. Women were the minority, and we're not the majority in healthcare leadership or even physicians, but we're definitely getting there. And so having the Girl Scouts, such a national force that is so well organized with a clear purpose in STEM, to bring us a brighter future. It's actually very exciting.
Lorna Wisham is Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Community Involvement for First Energy Corporation, leading charitable initiatives and employee volunteerism. She also serves as president of the First Energy Foundation, overseeing a $10 million investment portfolio. Wisham joined First Energy in 2005 and has held roles in external affairs, most recently as Senior Advisor, Federal Affairs in Washington, D.C. She transferred home in July 2018 for a brief leadership role with the First Energy Operating Company before being tapped to lead the Corporate Philanthropy Group. With a passion for community involvement, Wisham serves on several nonprofit boards, including Cuyahoga Community College Foundation, United Way of Greater Cleveland, First Tee of Cleveland, and the Akron Community Foundation's Women's Endowment Fund. She is a graduate of Leadership Cleveland and recipient of honors from Savoy Magazine, Smart Business Magazine, Women of Color Foundation, among others, and was recently named a 2021 YWCA Greater Cleveland Woman of Achievement.
If I were a box of Girl Scout cookies, I think I would be a Thin Mint. Even though Do-si-dos are my favorite, I think I'd be a Thin Mint. It's wrapped in chocolate, and it's got a little freshness behind it. My first mentors are really probably a collection of women. I'd start with my mother, who through in my lifetime has really taught me one key valuable characteristic of life, and that's kindness. We're all human, and we all make mistakes, but giving folks the kindness and the grace that I would want is something that I've learned from my mother. The other two came to me probably through college and post-college time frame. The first was my first boss out of college, Alexandria Johnson Boone. Things that I really learned about her was resilience. She was operating a Black female-owned public relations and communications firm at a time when these types of entrepreneurial opportunities just didn't exist. And then the last one I would say is really more about the mentors, Margot James Copeland, who is now a retiree of KeyBank as the executive vice president and head of their foundation, was someone that I have long admired. I feel kind of like a little sister to her, but I'm grateful to be in the role that I'm in now at First Energy, and perhaps if I can achieve in this role just a smidgen of what she contributed not only to Northeast Ohio, but across this country, then I will feel that our mentoring sessions, usually over a good glass of wine, were really successful in time. My father was really a huge role model for me. He passed away in 2016, but I still feel his presence every day. He also worked for then the Illuminating Company, was hired in the late 60s, very active with their Speakers Bureau and through human resources, and actually was one of the first Blacks that were hired with the Illuminating Company in HR, and ultimately retired in 1993, but not without leaving me a really strong impression about the company and how good of a company it is. I was blessed with an opportunity to come work for First Energy. He was still living at the time and was thrilled, frankly, that I had this opportunity to continue his legacy. So when you talk about legacy and how important that is in the Girl Scouts, it's apparently important in the Wisham household as well. My aha moment came very recently, but I've realized in that aha moment that I have been sort of on this journey in this road and role within external affairs or public affairs for a long time. But what I didn't realize was how much of an impact that the work and my personal interests and passions really are turning around communities. One of the things that, as the president of the foundation, was really important to me was we really pushed more with respect to support for diversity and inclusion. We are acting intentionally about the decisions we make, and that ultimately it was changing lives. So my aha moment was, you're in the right place at the right time. If I were in a room with a bunch of Girl Scouts and had an opportunity to tell them where or what to think about in order to prepare for their life journey, and whether it's in work or school, I would tell them to start with identifying what they're passionate about. Ask your parents how to guide you. Ask your Girl Scout troop leaders how to guide you, but really stay on the course and follow the path towards your passion.
What a remarkable group of women this year. Congratulations again to Ruth, Marianne, Elizabeth, Jan, Tonya, Quinn Yao, Tracy, Sandy, Vivian, and Lorna. I'd like to take a moment to thank this amazing group of volunteers that served as our 2021 selection committee and were vital to honoring each of these 10 women of distinction. So thank you to Suzanne, Diana, Julie, Tony, Lynette, Brenda, John, Kelly, Christina, Audrey, Victoria, Susanna, Kathy, Michelle, Patty, Elaine, and Ebony. Thank you again for helping to make this event possible. Don't forget to text WDA 2021 to 76278 or click the donate button right on your screen throughout today's event to bring the Girl Scout leadership experience to even more Northeast Ohio girls. It's not too late to receive the scarf for a gift of $100 or more. You can even make your donation in honor of one or all of today's honorees. Speaking of which, it's time to hear about the 2021 Advancing Women Award and to say thank you to our Advancing Women Award sponsor, Metis Construction Services. The Advancing Women Award is presented to organizations who have dedicated strides to furthering the development, careers, and the overall advancement of women in the workplace. This year's Advancing Women Award goes to Nestle USA.
At Nestle, our purpose is simple and direct: enhancing quality of life and contributing to a healthier future for everyone. Women have always played a critical role in Nestle's success. We strive to create the enabling conditions in our work environment in order for all women to be successful. Our initiatives on gender diversity include leadership development training and unconscious bias workshops, as well as flexible policies that contribute to supportive work environments. At Nestle USA, we offer mentorship programs, along with employee engagement groups that give women additional workplace resources. Our progressive parental leave policy, which offers primary caregivers 18 weeks of paid parental leave with the option of an additional 8 weeks of unpaid time off, and other workplace flexibility approaches set us apart from our peers. In 2018, we were proud to announce our pay equity analysis, which found that salaries for male and female employees have reached a 1-to-1 gender pay equity at Nestle USA, an important benchmark for us to achieve. Gender balance has been a long-term priority for Nestle, and we have been successfully increasing the number of women at all levels in the organization. Collectively, these supports and investments reflect a company that knows we're only as good as our people.
Well, if Nestle were a Girl Scout cookie, Girl Scout cookies taste so good, it's hard to really choose one. And because Nestle has a wide variety of brands and product choices as well, I think that we would say you could pair any Girl Scout cookie with any of our sparkling waters or coffee and enjoy them all. What's uniquely important about the environment that we create for women at Nestle is that we also have policies such as the Nestle Parent Support Policy. This leave policy really helps women not have to choose between their family life and their career. And so we create transitional return to work opportunities for them as they decide what's going to be important for their families. We are really proud of the achievements and accomplishments we've made in terms of gender balance. We offer leadership development opportunities, mentorship, sponsorship programs, employee resource groups that really help our women to engage with their peers and with each other. Nestle prides itself in our involvement in the community and making sure that we benefit the livelihoods of individuals and families. But what someone may not know is just how rich our culture is and the types of opportunities that are available, especially for women. For women who want to become more involved at STEM, there is a place for each of us at Nestle. We want our women to understand that they can push beyond the boundaries. At Nestle, you have an opportunity to demonstrate what we call our ways of winning. That's collaboration, that's speed, that's courage to innovate, and that's agility. And so as long as we operate under those premises as achievers, there is a place for women in any part of the organization. We have so much support. Support from leaders, support from peers, support from our employee resource groups. And as long as you value yourself in terms of what you want to accomplish, we will help you get there at Nestle. If I could share with young women, it's to be open. Be open to experiences that allow you to move sideways. horizontally versus just vertically, where you think about promotional opportunities. When you get breadth and depth of experience and knowledge, that not only makes you more powerful from an influence and insight standpoint, but then you're able to really thread the story together and to bring others along with you. We know at Nestle, this journey is not an individual one. We have a true north in which all of our employees contribute, and it's our job to make sure that they understand how much their contribution really affects our overall ability to delight our consumers. Challenge yourself to think outside of the box. We want achievers. We want women who are scrappy. We want women who are ambitious. We want women who are willing to go the extra mile, but we also want women who are authentic to themselves. Be who you are. We'll help you tap into those things that will enrich the experience that you have at Nestle. Partnering with an organization like the Girl Scouts is really important to us at Nestle. It's partnerships like the one that we have with you that really makes the difference, where our employees can feel like they're a part of a community that matters, a community that cares, and a community that really wants to make a difference. And that's our goal at Nestle.
Truly an outstanding company. Thank you again for providing these opportunities for women in the workplace. And now for a special treat, a video about the power of the Girl Scout leadership experience from our sister council, Girl Scouts Diamonds of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas.
I remember my first day at college. It was the best. I could not wait to get away from your grandparents. None of my siblings were at home. I was with them for 5 years.
Nettie, are you coming?
Welcome to camp. We're so glad you're here.
Are you coming?
Wow, that was a powerful message. The most amazing thing is Girl Scouts creates experiences like Maddie's every single year. And through scholarships and financial aid, these experiences are made available to every Girl Scout. Hi, my name is Sandy Reed, and as a Girl Scout alum myself, I can personally attest to the power of the Girl Scout leadership experience and its positive impact on a young woman's self-confidence. When I was younger, I was a Girl Scout. Last year, I was a 2020 Woman of Distinction honoree. Currently, I am the Vice President of Corporate Communications and Strategic Planning at the Davy Tree Expert Company and the 2021 Women of Distinction Event Chair. You've heard throughout today's program that the Women of Distinction Awards event supports Girl Scout scholarships and financial aid. But I want to take a moment to talk about exactly what that means. In fiscal year 2019 alone, Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio awarded over $250,000 in grants and scholarships to support membership costs, travel scholarships, camperships, and more. GSNEO waives the $25 membership fee for any girl that indicates a need on her membership application. No questions asked. Now I ask you, will you support giving girls like Maddie a camp experience? A $300 donation covers the cost of camp registration, as well as all the supplies she needs. A $100 donation covers the cost of delivering many of our virtual group programs. Programs like experts teaching a group of daisies from an underserved community how to code. A $50 donation is significant. It can cover the cost of a socially distant watercraft experience at camp, or even a basic uniform complete with pins and insignia. Even $25, the cost of membership, makes sure that the Girl Scout leadership experience is accessible to any girl who wants to participate. So please, donate now by texting WDA 2021 to 76278, or by clicking the donate button on your screen, and join me in building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place.
Thank you so much for those inspiring words, Sandy. It is now my pleasure to introduce the final honorees of the day. The Leader of Tomorrow Scholarship Award is presented to 3 Girl Scouts that embody the Girl Scout mission, promise, and law. I think you'll agree that these leaders of tomorrow show exceptional promise for future achievements.
Hallie Pranetta is a woman writer who enjoys writing short stories and poetry. She's had works published in literary magazines Right Now Lit, The Hearth Magazine, and Tea Light Press, and has earned 3 honorable mentions through Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. When she's not writing, she's participating in her slew of extracurricular activities, of being a QU ambassador at the LGBTQ+ Center of Greater Cleveland, being a national delegate in Girl Scouts, and of course, petting her cat, Pippi.
I have been in Girl Scouts since kindergarten. I believe that's 11 years. My favorite pin has to be these 2. I got them in Europe. They are the different Girl Scout World Centers, Pax Lodge in London, and our chalet in Switzerland. A challenge I met and overcame in Girl Scouts was my fear of heights. In camping, we did one of the climbing walls, and I was scared, but I did it. My favorite Girl Scout experience, I honestly have 2. One was going to Europe through Girl Scouts, and 2 was making friends at Cadet Summit, because they're still my friends to this day. My Girl Scout friends are different from other friends that I have. Because when we hang out, it feels more genuine, and also they go camping with me, and they like it. A time in Girl Scouts when I grew my leadership skills had to be working with one of my local troops in my service unit. I taught them like Spanish one day. It was fun. Oh, a disastrous moment that turned out to be great was in camp once, I forget what year. There was a spider in our unit and everyone was like freaking out and we all thought we were all gonna die. And then of course the leader came in and just like swept it out and we were safe. I went to, it was London, Paris, and Switzerland. And I mainly picked that one because London was there. And I was like, yes, like London was a place that I've been wanting to go for a long time. I don't think I would have been able to do that without Girl Scouts, honestly. I think people should be part of Girl Scouts because they give you, you can make friends, and they give you all of these opportunities that, at least for me, I haven't been able to really get anywhere else.
Hayley Eadie is an ambassador Girl Scout in Carrollton. She has had many accomplishments with the Girl Scouts in her 11 years, like earning her bronze, silver, and gold awards, being the Carroll County Girl Scout delegate, and earning all 3 Girl Scout torches. In school, Hayley was Student of the Month, was selected to attend Buckeye Girls State, was a National Honor Society member and officer, a member of Carrollton's Academic Hall of Fame, president of Youth to Youth, and a senior representative in the band. Hayley has enlisted in the Air Force and will soon start her career in the military.
My name is Hayley Eadie. I am from Carrollton, Ohio. It's about an hour and a half away from here. It's more north, south. I need the compass. My favorite pins are the ones that I got from Savannah, Georgia when we visited the Juliet Gordon Low House and we learned about the Girl Scout history in Savannah, Georgia. My gold award was, well, what I originally wanted to do was create a bird watching club for a local retirement home in Carrollton. And because of COVID, I wasn't able to go into the nursing home and do that. So I created a virtual bird watching club. So I'd record videos of me talking about different kinds of birds, showing videos and pictures of the birds, and then the activities director would play those videos for the residents. I think it definitely made their day because they weren't able to see their family because of COVID, and so they got to see a new face every week on the computer screen. And actually, too, I'll be enlisting at a higher rank in the Air Force with my gold award, so it was definitely a goal that I absolutely wanted to achieve. My Girl Scout friends are totally different from my other friends because I feel like they're honorable, reliable people that if I absolutely needed something that they would always help. And it's just like family to me. An aha moment for me in Girl Scouts was learning how to camp. So the girls and I worked together and it's like, oh my gosh, we did it. We built a tent, we made a fire, we cooked our own dinner, and it was just amazing to me, and I love that experience. I believe that it made a great foundation for my success because we learned so many things from money management to like life and social skills. And you don't usually learn those things in the school setting or a sports group setting. You learn those things in Girl Scouts, and I believe it's definitely going to help me, especially in like the military setting, having my uniform, making sure my pins are in the correct spot, looking professional, acting in professional ways, wherever I go. And I think it's absolutely going to help me in my future for sure. If I was a Girl Scout cookie, I would probably be the Thin Mint because if you look at a Thin Mint and it just looks like a chocolate cookie. But when you bite into the Thin Mint, you have that mint flavor. Some people, like at school, they see me as just, oh yeah, that's that girl in the marching band and that's that girl that's in the CHS club, but they don't realize that extra mint flavor on the inside. I'm in Girl Scouts and I can do so many new skills and so many different things that people don't always realize.
Nia Guess is a junior at Cornerstone Christian Academy. She serves as junior class president and a member of National Honor Society. She's also team captain of her travel softball team. Nia is passionate about child advocacy and volunteers with Autism Speaks. She also pursued and earned her program aide certification and has volunteered at several Twilight camps. Nia serves as a mentor to a local Girl Scout troop working toward their Silver Award. She earned her Silver Award and was featured on Ramona's Kids along with her troop. Nia is currently finishing up her Gold Award project.
I would be a Thin Mint because I have a little kick to me, but it's a cookie that's very lovable and very loved around the world, especially in Northeast Ohio. So I share my love and my little kick to everybody because I think that's what we need to do as Girl Scouts and as people, and I believe that I would best represent a Thin Mint. I wish they knew that Girl Scouts provides many skills that, though we're not just about selling Girl Scout cookies, we're about serving, we're about leadership, we're about making a difference and learning different skills. So I knew I made a difference in Girl Scouts when I had an event at the Autism Walk that we participate annually. This woman had left her daughter who had autism with me as she went to the restroom. And as she was walking back, she noticed her daughter was she was talking and she was more receptive to me. And she got teary-eyed as she walked back and she said, "My daughter has never really participated in anything over here, and you really have made a difference in her." When I was earning my silver award, I was the head of communications, meaning I had to speak with the mayor, both mayors of South Euclid and Lyndhurst, and firefighters and police, and the newscast. And at that time, I was very scared, but I knew that that's something I needed to do for my troop. And that really showed my leadership skills and helped me that I have a good communication skills and leadership. And that was a big role that I took on, and that's how I knew that I could lead. How would I get a group of girls excited about Girl Scouts? I would tell them, first of all, about all the great camps, the songs. I think the songs really attach me, other than the cookies. I would tell them that you would have a sisterhood from day one. Those girls are your sisters. Girl Scouts has really shown that encouragement is the key to the true sisterhood. My sisters are behind me, encouraging me. Their encouragement is what's key in helping me to strive to be better. In softball, I'm the team captain. And at my school, I'm the class president. And I would never gone out for those things if it wasn't for Girl Scouts.
What an inspirational group of Girl Scouts. Congratulations again to the leaders of tomorrow and all of the 2021 honorees. To those watching, we would love to hear about the women, organizations, and the Girl Scouts you think should receive these awards at next year's event. Nominations are already open and anyone is welcome to nominate potential honorees. Do you know more than one woman, or maybe a woman and a Girl Scout, or some other combination you think should be honored? Well, nominate them all. Nominations for the 2022 event close on November 1st. Visit gsneo.org/WDA to learn more and to submit your nominations for the 2022 event. Now, speaking of that event, mark your calendars for Friday, May 6th, 2022. Make sure you're signed up for the GSNEO e-newsletter to get the most up-to-date information about our signature events and so much more. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We hope that you've enjoyed our virtual Women of Distinction Awards event. If you've taken a photo, please share them with us on social media using the hashtag GSNEOWomen. And remember, it is not too late to contribute to our girls by texting WDA 2021 to 76278 and secure your limited edition scarf with a donation of $100 or more. On behalf of the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio, I am so grateful that you took the time this afternoon to join us in the mission to build girls of courage, confidence, and character, and who make the world a better place. Congratulations again to all 14 of the honorees, and to everyone. We'll see you next year.